I worked the ticket counter at Amsterdam Central Station. Last month, an American woman approached my window, holding her phone like evidence in a trial. I bought a train ticket online, she announced, but it doesn't have a seat number. I explained that most regional trains in the Netherlands don't have assigned seating. You just board and find any open seat. Her face went through 5 stages of grief in 3 seconds. That's chaos, she said. What if everyone wants the same seat? Then someone sits somewhere else, I replied. She stared at me like I had suggested we settle disputes with gladiator combat. In America, everything has a seat number. Movies, planes, concerts, even some restaurants. This is a train, I said. Exactly. A train is bigger than a movie theater. She demanded a seat assignment. I explained we don't issue those. She asked for a manager. I am the manager. She asked if she could pay extra for a guarantee. A guarantee of what? I asked. That I won't have to stand. I told her if the train is full, she could wait 12 minutes for the next one. She looked at the platform, looked at her phone, then asked, "Do the seats have numbers, but you just don't tell people?" A German backpacker behind her in line muttered, "Mein Gott." The American boarded the train. She sent an email to Netherlands Railways suggesting they modernize their system. She CC'd the US Embassy. My cousin drives a tram in Prague. Last year, an American couple boarded and immediately approached him while he was operating the tram. The man held out a €50 note. 2 tickets, he said. My cousin, without taking his eyes off the tracks, said, "Ticket machine." Behind you, the man looked offended. "You don't sell tickets?" "I drive. In America, bus drivers sell tickets."
Is this tram?
In Czech Republic, the woman joined in. "We don't have small change. Can you break this 50? My cousin pointed again at the ticket machine. The man studied it suspiciously, then returned to my cousin. "It's in Czech." "Yes. We can't read Czech." Touch flag. English appears. They argue that in a modern European city, all machines should default to English. They insisted on paying my cousin directly because that's how public transportation works. When he refused, they simply sat down without tickets. My cousin radioed the inspector. When the inspector arrived, they showed their €50 note like a diplomatic credential. We tried to pay. The inspector issued them each a fine, 1,500 crowns. They asked what that was in real money. Said about €60. They asked if he took Minem. I sell metro tickets in Paris. An American man came to my booth holding a carnet of 10 tickets he'd bought the previous day. "These don't work," he said. I asked what happened. He said he tried to use 1 ticket for 4 trips. It rejected the ticket after the first use. 1 ticket, 1 journey. I paid for 10 tickets. That's 10 rides. Yes. You have 9 tickets remaining. He held up a single ticket. But I validated this one. Why doesn't it keep working? I explained that each journey requires a new ticket. His face suggested I'd explained quantum physics in Swahili. That makes no sense economically. In America, you pay once and ride multiple times. It's called a day pass. We have day passes, I said. But you bought individual tickets because they were cheaper? Yes, per ride. He calculated something on his phone, then looked personally victimized. I'm being charged 10 times for the same service.
Oh, sir.
10 different rides on the same day. That costs 10 tickets. He demanded a refund and a day pass. I explained all sales are final. He argued this was a scam designed to confuse tourists and threatened to report RATP to the Better Business Bureau. I told him the BBB has no jurisdiction in France. He said his credit card company would handle this.
Ali.
30 seconds later, he returned. I need to buy another ticket. My friend works for the London Underground. She was staffing the help desk at King's Cross when an American family approached, all holding Oyster cards. The father said, "We tapped in at Heathrow yesterday." "Do we need to tap again?" My friend said, "Yes, you tap every time you enter and exit." The daughter interrupted, "But we already paid. The card has money on it." "Yes, and it deducts each trip," my friend explained. The mother shook her head. "In America, a Metro card works all day. You swipe once. Different system, my friend said. The father wasn't satisfied. We loaded 50 pounds on these cards. That should cover us for the week. Depends how much you travel. We're tourists. We'll travel constantly. My friend suggested they calculate daily costs. The father insisted that unlimited was the only logical option, and that per ride charging was nickel-andaming. Wanted confirmation that their cards wouldn't run out. Randomly. Check your balance at any station, my friend said. But what if we're already on the train? Then you've already tapped in. You're fine until you tap out. The daughter asked, what happens if they forget to tap out? My friend explained they'd be charged the maximum fare. The whole family looked horrified. The mother said, so the system punishes mistakes? It charges incomplete journeys. That's a punishment. They demanded a simpler system. My friend told them to buy paper day travel cards. The father asked why she didn't mention that first. She said, you already bought Oyster cards. I'm a train conductor in Switzerland working the Zurich to Lucerne route. Last summer, an American woman boarded with a massive suitcase. The kind you take for a year abroad, and tried to wrestle it into the overhead rack. It didn't fit. She left it blocking the aisle. I informed her she needed to store it in the luggage area near the doors. She said, I need to keep an eye on it. Everyone stores luggage there. In America, luggage stays with you. This is Switzerland. Safety regulations. She compromised by sitting in the aisle next to her suitcase. I explained that passengers cannot sit on the floor. She asked why not. I said it's a safety hazard and blocks egress. She replied, there's plenty of room to walk around me. Elderly Swiss man trying to pass disagreed. The American told him to go around. There was no around. She finally moved the suitcase but lodged a complaint at Lucerne station about Switzerland's small trains. The station master informed her, our trains are standard European gauge. She said, exactly. Too small. My brother manages a bus line in Barcelona. One evening, an American teenager boarded eating a dripping diner kebab. My brother told him no food on the bus. The teenager said, it's just a sandwich. Food is not permitted. Dude, I'm starving. I'll be quick, my brother repeated the rule. The teenager argued this was anti-freedom, and that in America, you can eat anywhere. My brother said, this is Spain. Spain is in Europe. Europe is supposed to be more free. Another passenger told him to get off or stop eating. The teenager claimed he had a medical condition requiring constant eating. My brother asked if he had documentation. He did not. He asked if my brother was discriminating against health issues. Finally, a British tourist said, mate, just been the kebab. The American replied, I paid €7 for this, the Brit said, and you'll pay more in fines. You muppet. The teenager wrapped up the kebab, shoved it in his backpack, and spent the whole ride glaring at my brother. At his stop, he left the greasy wrapper on the seat. My brother watched him exit, then radioed cleaning crew. I inspect tickets on regional trains in Norway. Last winter, an American man was sitting in first class with a second-class ticket. I pointed this out. He said he'd upgraded himself because second class was too crowded. You need to purchase first class, I said. I'm willing to pay the difference right now. I don't process upgrades. You need to move, he refused. He said he was a paying customer and there were empty first-class seats, so what's the harm? I explained that fare classes exist for a reason. He replied, yeah, classism. I told him he could move or pay the fine. He chose neither. He said, in America, customer service means flexibility. In Norway, tickets mean assigned class. That's communism, he said. I issued the fine. 900 kroner. He asked what that was in dollars. About 90, I said. He shouted that this was extortion, and he'd only been sitting there for 10 minutes. I told him duration doesn't matter. He demanded a complaint form. I gave him one. He asked if I had a pen. I did not. He asked how he was supposed to fill out the form. I suggested he find a pen. He moved to second class. At the next stop, he asked another passenger if Norway was always like this. I'm a ticket inspector for Deutsche Bahn in Munich. A few months ago, I boarded a train and found an American man sprawled across 4 seats in a packed carriage. People were standing in the aisles. I asked him to sit properly, he said. I have a back condition. Their passengers need seats. They can ask me to move. I'm asking you to move. Your staff. That's different. I told him this was his final warning. He sat up with theatrical agony, then immediately put his feet on the seat opposite. I informed him that feet on seats incur a fine. He said his shoes were clean. I said, it doesn't matter. He removed his shoes entirely and put his socked feet up. Still not permitted, I said. They're socks. A German woman standing nearby said something in German. The American asked what she said. I translated. She says, you are the reason people hate tourists. He looked genuinely hurt. I have a medical condition. Then sit like someone with a back condition. He finally sat normally, then asked, why is European public transportation so hostile? I suggested that maybe public transportation isn't hostile. Maybe he's just exhausting. He said that was rude. I said it was accurate. He asked for my employee number. I pointed to my badge. He took a photo, then asked how to spell my last name. I told him it's on the badge. He squinted at it and said, that's not how that's pronounced. I had to stop. He stood, stretched extensively, grabbed his bag, and said to the entire carriage, you guys need better customer service training. Nobody responded. The German woman muttered, unglaublich. Look, I understand that travel is disorienting. Different countries have different systems, and confusion is natural. But the confident assumption that the American way is universal creates these disasters. Public transportation works because everyone follows the same rules. It's not chaos, it's coordination. Next time, I'll share stories about Americans trying to navigate European train bathrooms. You'll hear about a man who thought the emergency brake was a door button, and a woman who reported our toilets to TripAdvisor for being incorrectly